So Nintendo just did something absolutely insane, something that I don't think a lot of us thought they were gonna do. Nintendo just announced a new Splatoon game. And not only that, but they did something specifically in the tweet that makes me think that we might actually end up getting that June Nintendo Direct. I think my theory might have been wrong, which is absolutely amazing, and I hope I am wrong. With that being said, if you guys end up enjoying this video and want to be kept up on the latest Nintendo Switch 2 news and leaks and rumors, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. And of course, leave a like, it really helps the video get pushed more when you do that. With that being said, let's get into it. So the Nintendo Switch 2 has been out for a week or so now, and it's been a pretty fantastic experience for myself. I'm really enjoying Mario Kart World, and something just came in the mail, a Nintendo Switch 2 version of Cyberpunk 2077, so that's really exciting to try after I get these videos done. And not only that, but I've been working on some new stuff for the channel too, so that's also really exciting when making content for the Nintendo Switch 2. Check out this background right here. So I'm really excited about the future of the Nintendo Switch 2, and when you talk about the future of the Nintendo Switch 2, of course you gotta talk about new games being announced. That's the one thing that I find really exciting about the Nintendo Switch 2 is that we're just in a new generation, so naturally that's going to come with new game announcements, new things happening, and different sort of events that happen with Nintendo where they just randomly drop things on a random Tuesday like right now. So if you guys haven't seen this yet, Nintendo of Europe had this to say: play as a mechanic and explore the mysterious Spiralite Islands alongside Deep Cut in Splatoon Raiders, a new Splatoon spin-off game launching exclusively for Nintendo Switch 2. Stay tuned for more deets in the future. You know, the funny thing about this is that in a recent video when I talked about the future of the Nintendo Switch and things that they're going to announce in the future, one of them was that they could just randomly drop a game on Twitter. And the thing about that, dropping news on Twitter, Nintendo has done this in the past. During the pandemic, Paper Mario and the Origami King was actually dropped on Twitter. Here's a tweet right here. Now, there are some people on Twitter that were a little confused on what exactly this game is. Is the Splatoon DLC? Is it an actual spin-off, a separate whole game? Or is it just some kind of thing that's added into Splatoon for free? And not only that, but what kind of game it is, and what other news other than this new Splatoon game was announced, because there was some extra stuff on top of this new game that was announced as well. So let's read through the Nintendo.com article and get those additional details. So the title of Nintendo.com's article says Splatoon Raiders, the first ever Splatoon spin-off game, is coming to Nintendo Switch 2. And that's one thing to keep in mind, that this is exclusive to the Nintendo Switch 2 console. So I'm assuming it's not going to run on the Nintendo Switch 1, and this is something that I was wondering if they were going to do before the Nintendo Switch 2 was revealed, if they were going to have things that were only for the Nintendo Switch 2. And I do feel like that's another topic for another video, but I do wonder if they're going to eventually phase out the original Nintendo Switch in favor of like the next Nintendo Switch 2 that's like a pro version. Let me know what you guys think about that down in the comment section below. Do you think they're going to eventually phase out the first Nintendo Switch and we're just going to get more Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive games? Or is Nintendo going to do something different? Anyways, continuing. In a new trailer released today, Nintendo announced the first ever Splatoon spin-off game. Splatoon Raiders, coming exclusively to the Nintendo Switch 2 system in the role of a mechanic. Players will go on an adventure in a mysterious Spiralite Island alongside the Splat-tacular Deep Cut trio. More info regarding this title will be shared in the future. Now, we will talk about that a bit later in this video, and I am going to make a separate video on that specific news and what that could mean for future Nintendo Directs, so make sure you subscribe for that video. And if you're already subscribed, of course, have the bell on so you know when that uploads. But anyways, continuing, there's some additional information here. Additionally, a free update for Splatoon 3 game is coming to Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2 on June 12th. So this is not only for the Nintendo Switch 1, but it's also for the Nintendo Switch 2. And they also go into exactly what's in this update. The update features 4 Splatlands collection consisting of new weapons from the Bara, Zushi, and Embers brands. Based on the previous weapons, these new additions have fresh looks with a different sub and special weapons. There are a total of 30 new weapon kits in this collection. A returning stage from the original Splatoon game on Wii U called Urchin Underpass will also be added to the stage rotation. Now, this is actually pretty surprising, and there is more than that, so stay tuned in this video. Really quickly, I want to say I'm kind of surprised that they're adding new stuff to the game. I remember I saw a tweet on Twitter saying that they haven't really updated the game in 2 years. Let me know in the comment section below, like, when was the last time they actually updated this game, because I myself haven't really seen anything from this game in a long time, and I haven't played it in a long time as well. I ended up selling it to help pay for, I think it was Animal Crossing, I believe, or maybe it was Tears of the Kingdom. It was one of those games. But anyways, here's some more stuff that's going to be in this update. Plus, all weapon freshness caps will be raised, and players can earn new in-game badges. A new stat will be added for Anarchy Battle series called Super weapon power, or not super weapon power, series weapon power. And according to Nintendo.com's article, it says it will track a player's effectiveness per battle weapon based on their win/loss ratio in battles, and will then match them with players of similar power. So what I'm assuming from this is just another way for them to matchmake people with similar skill level. But anyways, continuing. This makes it possible for players to try new weapons without being disadvantaged and push the limits of their favorite weapons. And here's something that I was really curious on when they said Nintendo Switch 1 and Nintendo Switch 2, and I'm sure a lot of you guys were probably wondering this too, if we're going to get an update for Splatoon 3, specifically for the Nintendo Switch when it comes to visuals, because a lot of different games have gotten those, and even games that don't necessarily receive extensive updates, it's just running on the Nintendo Switch 2 and it makes it run better. So this is what they say. Furthermore, with this new update, Splatoon 3 players on Nintendo Switch 2 can enjoy more details, visuals, and a smoother experience in locations like Splatsville and the Grand Festival grounds. Today's trailer also confirmed that Splatoon 3 players will be able to play together across both Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. So keep that in mind. You're not kind of locked out of your other friends who are on the original Nintendo Switch, which is pretty fantastic because not everyone was able to get a Nintendo Switch 2. I ask this a lot in my videos, but let me know how hard it was for you guys to get the Nintendo Switch 2. I've seen so many mixed comments and reports and even just stuff on Twitter. Like, some people were just able to walk into a Target, Walmart, GameStop, or anything and just get a Nintendo Switch 2, and other people literally went in there, they saw the sign that said out of stock and walked right out. Now, there is some additional info from Splatoon North America, their North American account, and this is what they say. Maximum freshness is being raised from 5 stars to 10. Rest assured the EXP you've collected after reaching 5 stars will also be counted. There will also be some new badges based on the number of weapons you have with 4 stars or more, so get ready to experiment. So that is some additional info that they didn't say in the article. Now, there is something that they specifically said in their tweet that makes me wonder about when we're going to see more news, because they did say that we're going to get news later on. Now, I am going to make a separate video specifically focused on this because there's a lot more that I want to say on this topic, but when it comes to Nintendo Directs, you usually think that it's going to be in June, right? I think that's what everyone was thinking when it comes to the Nintendo Direct. But then when Nate the Hate came out and said that he hasn't heard anything, and then Peach Brazil, who was initially saying that there's going to be a Nintendo Direct in the first or second week of the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2, backtracking on that rumor, then I started to think, well, maybe they're doing a September Nintendo Direct because they have Gamescom and Summer Game Fest for Nintendo Switch games, right? Well, Summer Game Fest has already gone and passed on a lot of the days that they were going to be doing stuff, and there wasn't really a lot of Nintendo Switch stuff, right? I mean, there was some things. If you notice, there was the Nintendo Switch icon on some of the games, but there really wasn't a lot. So this makes me wonder if we are going to get the June Nintendo Direct, and my theory was just completely wrong, which I really hope it was. But that really does make me wonder if Nintendo is going to be doing a June Nintendo Direct, and that's where we're going to see the later details that they mentioned in their post about the new Splatoon game. Let me know what you guys think about that down in the comment section below, and what do you think about all the new things that are added to Splatoon, as well as the new update for Nintendo Switch 2, and of course, what do you think Nintendo is going to be doing with future Nintendo Switches, since it seems like a lot of games are heading only for Nintendo Switch 2. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.